Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Jake, and this is our 2 cents, where we talk everything boxing, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. In today's live, we will be doing a live review of an interview that was done with on boxing scene. Let me share my screen. That was done on boxing scene with Paulie Malignaggi and his crew. And I wanted to do a live review of this video and give my 2 cents about it. And this is something I'm going to add to my repertoire. So y'all be sure to punch the like and subscribe button. Be sure to help support the channel by hitting the Cash App at $ 2 cents boxing. Or if you're listening to the replay, you can hit a heart and with the $ below. And you could just leave a special thanks below. And let me know you enjoying the content. I'm trying a bunch of different things on my channel. This live review is something I'm gonna add because I be seeing so many videos that I want to be say something about, but then I'm out and then I gotta make a video and I gotta upload it. I don't want to do all that. I want to be able to just come on here live. Plus, I love the interaction with the audience, with the 2 centers. So y'all be sure to let me know and drop it below as I'm going through this. And this is not like a regular live stream. I'm not going to have a panel. I will be live again today at 5 p.m. But what I'm doing is a live review, giving my 2 cents of what Paulie said in this interview, because I thought it was very interesting. And I just want to give my 2 cents about it. Shout out to everybody in the building. Thank y'all for popping up and stopping through. Make sure y'all got those notifications on. And again, I will still be live this evening. This is just a new segment I'm kind of adding to my show called Live Review. Now, if I start getting copyrighted and all this other kind of stuff, I don't know if I'm going to keep going. But I'm going to take a shot because you should be allowed to, review videos. So let's get started with this video. And y'all be sure to let me know and drop it below your 2 cents as the video is going. If you're listening to the replay, be sure to let me know and drop it below. Put a 1 in the chat.
Welcome into Boxing Scene today here at the Pro Box TV studios. Well, there's no news like breaking news. It broke as I was sitting in my chair waiting for this show to start. Can't say I'm happy about it necessarily. Gervonta Davis taking on Jake Paul. It looks like right now, according to Mike Coppinger, November 15th, Atlanta's State Farm Arena in an exhibition on Netflix. One of the topics we're going to discuss today, but maybe the future of Gervonta Davis. Now we think we know what it is. To help me break it down.
And let me say this before this video continue, and I'm going to talk about it later on today on my live. So y'all make sure you join me at 5 p.m., 5 to 7 p.m. We have to keep in mind as we're hearing a lot of this stuff about the Tank Jake fight and versus and you know how people feel about it and things. We have to also keep in mind that, and I want to say this, right? I'm not quote unquote defending the fight, right? It is what it is. It's gonna happen. You can have whatever opinion you have about it. I'm just pointing out some things, and I think it's interesting, and I'm gonna give my 2 cents about it. But I want people to keep in mind as we go through this too, that Turki Al-Sheikh has purchased a lot of the boxing media. And also keep in mind that the fighters that they want Gervonta Tank Davis to fight, Devin Haney works with who? Turki Al-Sheikh. Shakur Stevenson is tied to who right now? Turki Al-Sheikh. So I want y'all to keep that in mind when you're seeing things and hearing things as we go throughout this video.
And in studio, the champ, Paulie Malignaggi, joining us via Zoom. The champ, Chris Algieri. Paulie, literally breaking news. First thoughts, what are they, man? I know you don't hold back a whole lot, so I'm looking forward to this one.
Dude, I don't know. I'm still processing it. It's an exhibition, at least. I don't know. It could have been worse. I guess it could have been a real on-the-record fight. I don't know. You know, wasn't Jake Paul rumored to be in fighting Anthony Joshua recently?
Yeah, heavyweight, big heavyweight.
Who said this recently, that they wish they had it like Jake Paul, where you could just go through all the weight classes and be like, I'm gonna fight.
Not no insults or no nothing about Anthony Joshua, huh?
Everybody's up for a fight. Everybody's in the room for the fight with Jake, from flyweight to heavyweight. It's great. You got all the kinds of options. Gervonta Davis, I don't think he's wanted to fight Lamont Roach. This was the perfect escape for him. It's really win-win, I guess. I mean, I can't say it's win-win for Gervonta as much as it is for Jake. Jake, it's like.
So I'm just asking, what makes y'all think he doesn't want to fight Lamont Roach? I'm just curious. I'm not saying he is going to fight Lamont Roach. I'm not saying he isn't going to fight Lamont Roach. I'm just asking what makes y'all think that he's not.
Okay, you're fighting a former world lightweight champion. You're bigger, so you have some advantages, even if you're, at a severe skill disadvantage. You're not supposed to expect to do anything, but if you do, it's even, it's bananas for you. It's great. Gervonta, I don't know. What if Jake hits?
Y'all let me know and drop it below. I don't really watch Paulie like that, but do his eyes always look like that and he don't blink?
Jake's a big guy. I don't know if Gervonta stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
And Gervonta is small even by lightweight standards.
Right.
So it is a little bit of a David and Goliath fight. It's just, the David character in Gervonta is much, much more skilled. But I guess that's the thought process. As far as what it does for boxing, well, absolutely nothing. But then again, what have Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul really done for boxing in the ring aspect? Because Jake, I am a believer in Jake as a promoter, and I think that he has a future as a promoter, and I think he's done very well as a promoter, and I think his company has done some very good things for the sport, and for young fighters, and for brewing talent and making good fights on that basis. But as far as from fighters' perspective, what they do for boxing from a fighter's perspective, I don't think Gervonta Davis has ever done anything for boxing, honestly. Like I feel.
Okay. I want somebody to answer this, right? What is a fight? What is doing something for boxing? Can somebody let me know and drop it below what that means? What is doing? Can somebody give me examples of what his, because they like to compare it to his contemporary. So, and I'm being for real. If you're listening to the replay, seriously, can somebody tell me what the quote unquote contemporaries that he's not fighting, can you tell me what they have done for boxing and kind of define what does that mean? What does it do for boxing? Because y'all seen when I have my all woman panel on Friday, which I have every Friday starting at 6:30, ladies come by, hop on the panel. It's just the ladies up there. We talking boxing. You can get your 2 cents off. You ain't got to be intimidated. You ain't got to worry about the man up there crying and being emotional and yelling. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Come on over to 2 Cents Boxing when we talk everything boxing, ladies, and you're entitled to your own opinion. Now, we kind of broke down the fight, how the tickets was selling and the attention that it got on the fight. So I'm just curious, what do they mean by Tank has never done anything for boxing? And what is it that a fighter does that makes them be doing something for boxing? Do y'all understand the question? Let me know and drop it below, because he said, I don't think Tank Davis has ever done anything for boxing. He's never done anything for boxing, but everybody's talking about boxing right now because Gervonta, Tank Davis, and Jake Paul are about to fight. Everybody's talking about boxing right now. You heard Friday on the show, Key with the T, she said Vibe magazine was writing about boxing. So I'm just curious. And this is not about defending or doing none of that stupid shit y'all keep running around here saying. I'm just trying to get my point across. Like
TV has just in this generation, they just create stars and then they just tell you, okay, we're going to make this guy the star. It's like they're pre-created and then they just tell you, because honestly.
Champ, when's the last time you've been to a Gervonta Davis fight?
Since my days at Showtime. And I know you tell me, but here's the thing. See the sneaker right here, these Nikes? I'll tell you, let me finish my thought. Do you see these Nikes? If you promote these Nikes like they promoted Gervonta Davis's career when he fought the coffee salesman and the milkman and all this other stuff, if you promote these Nikes the same way, you will feel, because we live in a generation so stupid. They're making this fight in the Georgia Dome or whatever. What is the new arena called? It's not even called the Georgia Dome anymore. It's whatever it's called.
State Farm Arena.
State Farm Arena.
Yep.
You could fill up an arena making this Nike shoe fight this Nike shoe. And you can fill up an arena. We live in a generation this stupid. So if you promote it for years and years and years with highlight reels, manufactured reels, and all this other stuff, and you can do that, because Gervonta, honestly, he fought a.
Let me address that real quick, right? And this is my thing with this, right? That's my biggest pet peeve, is that they want people. They want you to believe that Gervonta Tank Davis has such a huge fan base and can sell out an arena because people are stupid. because people are stupid, because his fan base is stupid. And this is what I tell y'all all the time and what I've been saying, right? I'm not calling people stupid, but I'm saying the more I have to know about boxing to appreciate your style, the more niche your fan base is going to be. You're not going to have a big fan base if I got to understand what a pull counter and a this and that and lateral movement and all of these things that I got to understand to appreciate your style. You will not have a big fan base because that's not what casual fans are into as far as the sport of boxing go. Like I keep saying, you can come in boxing and create your own market. If you're a hardcore fan favorite, you're a hardcore fan favorite. That's your market. And that's okay. Like, I feel like Paulie up here talking about this like it's a bad thing. And he's trying to make it seem like the only reason Tank is big is because he was manufactured and marketed to the people. So tell me this, Paulie. Tell me this, Paulie. Miss Mona in the building. She says, go cry in the car, tired of all this crying and whining, get over it. Miss Mona, let me remind you, if you're talking to me, that you did click on my video voluntarily and you are free to leave if you're tired of it and you don't want to hear it. You don't have to be here. The same with the people crying about this fight. You don't have to watch it. So anyway, I'm just trying to break this myth that a fighter can be made. And don't get me wrong, fighters can be manufactured. Yes, they can be manufactured. But at some point, whether they're manufactured or not, the masses are going to determine whether they like this fighter, and people spend their time and their money where they see value. So obviously they see value in supporting this fighter. If all you have to do is market, why didn't these other fighters, his quote unquote contemporaries, focus on their marketing and doing the same thing? Oh, you talking about Paulie, Miss Mona? Oh, okay, my bad. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna let it play some more because I want to say something about that. If it's about, because it sounds like what Paulie's saying to me is that boxing in this day and age, which like he just said, because the generation is so stupid, if that's the case, as a fighter, as a business, I might want to figure out how to tap into that so that I can grow as a fighter and as a business and have better financial opportunities to me. I might want to do that then. That's all I'm saying. You cannot try to compete in a business. Don't follow the trends. Don't market to the masses or whoever you want to market to, and sit back and complain that you don't have the attention and the recognition that you need. Let him go forward because he's going to say some more stuff.
Bantamweight Leo Santa Cruz is one of his best wins, who is old. And if you look at Santa Cruz's record, 80% of his resume was guys you never heard of himself, you know? So that's one of his best wins. Jose Pedraza was absolutely clearly weight drained. And his career arc prior and afterwards tells you that. And also, I was in the fighter meetings with Jose Pedraza when he's fighting at 130. And he used to complain to us every time he made 130 how dead he was at the weight. And I had already worked the fight where Edna Cherry beat him and got robbed. So Pedraza shouldn't have even been champion when Jay Davis took it.
And this is what I'm talking about right here, right? If you look at his contemporary resumes and you run them down like he doing, what are the things you can say about their opponents? You're going to complain about Leo Santa Cruz when Leo Santa Cruz moved up to 130, won a belt, and then Crawford moved down to fight him. And then you're going to say Pedraza was weight drained. Pedraza was fighting in that weight class. That was the weight class he was fighting in. He might have been at the weight class too long. But when people say Earl was at the weight class too long, what does everybody say? That's not Earl's fault. It's not Earl's fault. I mean, that's not Terrence's fault. That's not Terrence's fault he was at the weight class too long. So none of these things that Paulie is mentioning, in my opinion, is Tank's fault. Now, you can point out the strategic way he maneuvered to fight these fighters, but the truth is, Paulie, they all do that, Paulie. They all do that. That's all I'm saying. Like, I just want people to be honest and objective. Like y'all just not being for real. Y'all not being for real at all. And I'm honestly don't really understand what y'all are comparing or saying. For you to say that Tank can fill up a stadium because his fans are stupid and he's manufactured, why didn't other people do that then? Like that's what I'm not understanding.
Title. That's probably his second biggest win. Ryan Martin, there was a lot of fluff because he never accomplished anything, but he was a flashy guy, and I actually like that win for Gervonta.
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia, a lot of fluff again because he's a YouTuber who's never accomplished anything else besides being a YouTuber. Though there is talent there, it's unfulfilled and untapped talent, and the loss to Rolly Romero tells you that. So what has Gervonta Davis created aside from being a manufactured creation that got a big push from Floyd Mayweather? Let's be honest here, a big push from Floyd Mayweather, and then after that, let's match him very carefully because what do? We wanted to do the same thing with Adrian Broner, who had the balls to fight everybody. Say what you will about Adrian Broner, had the balls to fight everybody, didn't duck a single fight. And they said, you know what? We wanted to do this with Adrian Broner. We wanted to just manufacture a star before he was made into a star. And we kind of messed up by matching him too tough.
And this is what I'm saying. It's like, oh, Adrian Broner, he had the balls to fight everybody. And Adrian Broner fucked up his career doing that. He messed up his career doing that, going up in weight classes, fighting fighters he had no business fighting. And he himself even said, if I had better guidance in my career, things would have went a little better for me, even though I don't believe that because I don't think he would have listened. But he even said himself he was fighting fighters and doing shit he had no business doing at that point in his career. So it seems like these people have a problem with fighters moving their own way and making their own decisions and doing what they want to do with their career. And then they want to tear them down and talk shit about them. I've already told you, they do it to Boot. They're doing it to Boots and they're doing it to Tank. The fighters that are coming up organically and building their own fan bases, right? They're calling those fighters manufactured and saying that they not fighting nobody. But the fighters that are actually got the YouTube payola syndicates and doing this and saying that and doing all this other stuff, they're not putting them through no fine-tooth comb, going through their resume, saying that they only fought this champion and oh, this person got these belts, but two of them was a vacant belt they fought for, and this person did that. They're not breaking it down like that. They're not breaking it down like that. And they also want you to believe that the only reason why Tank has the star power that he has is because he's manufactured and the fans are stupid. He's manufactured and the fans are stupid.
So the pendulum swung in the complete opposite direction here. It's not like you balanced it out. You went in the complete opposite direction and made this guy fight absolutely nobody constantly. And let me tell you something about the Lamont Roach fight. He's a 16-1 underdog going into the fight because they knew they didn't want to fight anybody who was a risk. There's a reason he's ducking the Lamont Roach rematch now because now you realize, wow, this guy is a threat. Whoa, I don't want anything near him. I don't want.
So, Paulie, did Tank not tell y'all this was going to be a tough fight? He was a good fighter before the fight happened. Did other fighters say, no, Lamont Roach is a good fighter. That's going to be a tough fight for Tank. Did people not say that, Paulie? Because they did say that. He grew up fighting Lamont Roach. You don't think he knew what he was getting himself, quote unquote, getting himself into when he took the fight? Come on, Paulie. This is why I don't watch Paulie. I really don't.
I've stayed away from guys like this my whole career. What am I going to start fighting them now? They've given me free money my whole career to get away from the threats. I'm going to start fighting them now? Hell no. This guy was good. I don't want nothing to do with him. Let's go with the Jake Paul route, which is, again, mostly win-win for him. It's more win-win for Jake, but it's mostly win-win for him.
All right. So what does Gervonta Davis?
Hold on. I got to respond.
That's what I want, Chris. Go ahead.
I didn't even get to talk.
Please.
So what has he done for the sport? I mean, manufactured or not, he went out there and he performed and he got knockouts and people tuned in. Boxing fans tuned in. And you can talk about that shoe fight and that shoe. They're not boxing fans. Gervonta Davis sold pay-per-views to boxing fans. And he got boxing fans to come to fights, which is so needed. Desperately needed.
They marketed him that way. You can market anybody. You can market it that way. You can market it that way.
Paulie, you're supposed to market him that way, bro. What are you talking about? What do you mean they market him that way? He's a product. I'm supposed to market it in a way that wants people to buy it. tell his contemporaries to market themselves in a way where people will buy it. But they don't want to market themselves. They want guaranteed money so that they don't have to worry about that. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying nobody better. I'm not saying nobody worse. I'm talking about the business. Business. You're a business. Market yourself to get people to want to support you financially. People spend their time and money where they see value. Period. People spend their time and their money where they see value. So, if people are spending their time watching Tank and people are spending their money watching Tank and they're not spending their time and money watching the other fighters, guess what that could possibly mean, Paulie?
Way, champ, you should know better because you and I were very marketable and never got.
And I want y'all to notice how Paulie won't let this man talk.
Any marketing except as opponents for high-level fighters. And you should know that. They talk about great white hypes and all this other stuff. No, that's absolutely not true. They manufacture what they want to manufacture. Shakur Stevenson can be marketable. He's not ghetto enough. Andre Ward was very marketable. He's not ghetto enough. Why do black fighters only get marketed when they're quote-unquote ghetto, when there's class guys who you can market as great examples? Shakur.
Man, shut your... Let me calm down. Man, Paulie, cut it out. If Shakur Stevenson can be marketed better, how about you tell Eddie Hearn and Turkey, who he's over there working with right now, to produce better marketing for him? So you telling me you can't market him better because he's not ghetto enough? Man, that's dumb. If you believe that, I'm sorry. What I'm starting to see and realize is that a lot of people have no business acumen, and that's cool. That's okay. Not a lot of people study business, had a business, ran a business, started a business. A lot of people haven't done that, and I get it. So you probably not understanding. But I don't know if y'all seen that interview with Andre Ward. And Andre Ward sat there. I think it was Andre Ward and Devin Haney, I think, might have been doing the interview. But basically what Andre Ward was saying in the interview is that he don't care about his promoters making money. It's not on him to care about. Basically, he said, it's not on me to care about anybody else making money but myself. He's like, give me my guarantee, and if you don't make your money back, oh, well, I don't care. So think about having that type of working relationship with your promoter. Think about having that type of relationship with your promoter where you're telling your promoter, man, just pay me to fight. And if you profit off my event, I don't care. I'm getting my money. And if you profit, I don't care. I'm not about to do no interviews. I'm not about to promote myself. I'm not about to market myself. I'm not about to market myself. I just want to make sure that I get my guarantee and get paid, get this fight, get a win, and go about my business. Paulie, that's the difference. That's why Shakur Stevenson, Andre Ward, all these people you naming didn't get to that, in my opinion. That's why they didn't get to that level of stardom, because that was their mentality. Their mentality or focus wasn't to get to a level of stardom. Their mentality or focus wasn't to market myself to create a fan base where people will be where people will value me and be willing to spend their time and money to come and watch me fight. And that's fine. Like I said, boxers can do whatever their goals are in the sport. His goal was to get his money, get his guaranteed money, be a good fighter in the sport, get wins and accolades, and go about his business. And it's not, and I'm not saying that it's a problem with that. But what I'm saying is, y'all not like, people not gonna sit up here and lie. And I want to give them a different perspective so that they can have an opportunity to see things from a different view and have a better understanding that Paulie just said it. He just said Tank was marketed. He was moved correctly. He was promoted correctly. He had the proper funding behind him. What? It sounds like he did a good job. It sounds like other fighters should watch the way he moved and what he did and aspire and learn the business side and how he was able to garner and get all of those fans. Yes, a lot of it does have to do with him being able to get knockouts. But you don't always have to get knockouts. You don't have to be a knockout artist. I feel like that's a myth. Earl True Spence Jr. wasn't a quote unquote knockout artist. He had a huge fan base and a huge following. So I don't think that that's necessarily true that you got to quote unquote be ghetto. Like that's a stereotype that you're putting out there, because it's not like we seen Shakur Stevenson try to market himself and get rejected like that. It's not like we seen Devin Haney marketing himself and getting rejected like that. No, we seen them focus on getting their guarantees or whatever they doing and doing all of that and going about their business. I mean, Bill Haney had a good idea. He came out with the YouTube payola. He got the people talking about Devin, but the way they did that, and if you go back to my other videos, I said they got to market themselves differently. Because when all of this dies down, the backlash that they're going to receive is going to be crazy because of the way they decided to market themselves and put the energy out there. That's all I'm saying. So for me to see Andre Ward sit there and say, man, I don't care if the promoter make their money back. When he said that, I was like, oh, because I used to wonder, well, why Andre Ward wasn't never a star? Why he wasn't bigger than what he was? And when I heard him say that, I said, that's why. That's why he wasn't bigger than what he was. Because when people attach themselves to Tank, they're profitable. It's going to be a business. They're going to do a live gate. The location going to sell concessions and do all this. The economy around going to sell hotels and restaurants going to get food. The people that make content and talk about fights going to profit because Tank is. All of these things are going to happen when Gervonta Tank Davis mentions that he has a fight coming up. He's making himself and everybody else around him more profitable. So in my opinion, I think that's the biggest difference. And I didn't mention anything about skill. I didn't mention anything about accolades. I didn't mention anything about in the ring. Because if you think that only how you perform in the ring and you getting accolades affects all of this other stuff outside that really makes you profitable and be a business, we are currently seeing, maybe at one point in time in history of boxing, it was true, but we are currently seeing trends changing, and that is no longer the end all be all for boxing. And that's the only point I'm trying to make. Is there a market for people getting accolades and belts? Absolutely. The quote unquote hardcore fan. That's your market. I don't understand what the problem is.
Stevenson, Andre Ward, so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm saying it. People complain because I'm too real, and I'm going to be honest. Why could Ray Leonard be manufactured as a? I don't even want to use the word manufactured because Ray Leonard actually was legit,
great fighter.
But Ray Leonard promoted as the class guy, and it worked. Why could you do it back then, but now you can't do it? Andre Ward was a gold medalist the same way, class, could speak, mature, poised, could fight his ass off. Why didn't you market him the way you marketed Ray Leonard? What happened between 1976 and 2004? Why are you marketing why are you marketing only Thug Life?
Paulie, who are you talking to? What do you mean? Who are they promoters, bro? Who's their promoters? Who are their promoters? We are in the age of social media, Paulie. They can market themselves and market however they want to. That's what y'all not realizing. This ain't what is this commercials on TV and this and that. You're allowed to market yourself and put yourself out there how you want to. How does Shakur Stevenson decide to market himself? How does Shakur Stevenson decide to market himself? By talking on X and Twitter and contradicting himself all day and going back and forth and flip-flopping. That's how he decides to market himself to keep people talking about him. So is it not on them to get market? Like, you cannot say, because there's a space for everybody. There's a lane for everybody to create a following in this day and age. So in my opinion, it's kind of no excuse. Those other fighters need to put the people in places and teams in place to help them market themselves more. Like, that's it. Tank don't need to do nothing different. It's y'all. It's these quote unquote contemporaries that y'all complaining about that need to do something different. And I'm not saying they need to do something different. If I'm just responding to Paulie, if they happy doing what they doing, then that's cool. That's cool.
Why? And I'm not saying, okay, I wasn't a part of this because I was a big fan of the hip-hop gangster rap generation and all this other stuff. But as a 44-year-old, you start to realize the concept of the entire scope of things. Why are you not marketing guys like Shakur Stevenson more? Why are you marketing this guy who doesn't want any of the smoke? Shakur has wanted all the smoke. This guy doesn't want any of the smoke. Even if the smoke is over there, not only does he not go in the...
Who is he asking, though? That's a good question, Paulie. Why are they not marketing these fighters more? He over there with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn. You said Shakur Stevenson should be a star. Why are you not marketing him more, Eddie?
The room. He doesn't want to be near it. You know what I mean? So, and then God forbid he accidentally enters the room where there was smoke he didn't expect, like the Lamont Roach fight. He's running out of there. He's taking knees and everything. So what are we doing here? This does nothing for the sport. Ultimately, it's not really a personal thing against these kind of people, these kind of individuals. It's what it does for the sport or what it does against the sport. It hurts the sport, man. You keep manufacturing these people in people's living rooms. You're just pre-choosing them. I don't know if there's some kind of off-the-wall ritual in the background that some people are agreeing to do certain things in exchange for certain amounts of fame. I really don't know anymore, bro. I've gone into the conspiracy realm at this point in my life way more than this, but at this point, I don't even know it, bro. What makes you decide we're going to make this guy a star?
Paulie mad he ain't get invited to the Diddy party.
And this guy no. What makes you decide at this point when both can fight? Because you give that career arc, that career resume to Shakur Stevenson the same as you did to Gervonta Davis. Shakur would have beat every single one of the opponents that Gervonta has beaten, but much easier, much less competitively.
Chris?
So Paulie. So Shakur Stevenson would have beat Tank opponents much easier? How do you know that, Paulie? How do you know that, Paulie? I'm just asking. Which opponents would he have beaten easier? And if that's the case, why he don't go fight him? And if Tank don't fight nobody, why are other people trying to fight the people he fight? Why everybody lining up to try to fight Lamont Roach? Why everybody was trying to fight Ryan Garcia? Like, it's just be a lot of contradicting themselves they be doing. And it's just, it's not really honest.
Therein lies the problem. So one thing I'm going to say is, Paulie's not going to say no Diddy in terms of the conspiracy that's going on. But in terms of you mentioned those fantastic guys who are classy as hell: Andre Ward, Shakur Stevenson, Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what the difference is, Paulie? Knockouts, dude. Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're not.
Let me get these super chats real quick. Shout out to Big Dog Willie with the $2 in the super chat. He says, "My sis 2 cents boxing. Salute. Tankamaniac. Salute." Big Dog Willie back in the super chat with the $2. He says, Paulie hates black fighters because Broner effed his girl. Paulie tripping, man. Like, I'm not saying he don't have no points and he's entitled to his own opinion, but some of the stuff he being a little hyperbolic in my opinion. If y'all enjoyed the live review show, let me know and drop it below your 2 cents. And be sure to help support the channel by hitting the Cash App at 2 cents boxing or leaving your 2 cents in a super chat below. Let me know if y'all like these shows, because I'm just running the different stuff, throwing stuff against the wall, see what sticks. And the stuff that gets supported the most is going to be the stuff that I keep doing. So let me know if y'all like these live reviews. And if I don't start to get copyrighted and it's a lot of support for it, I will continue to do it. But let's
look at cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
champions.
If he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're
this dude look like he about to pass out. Do y'all see his eyes popping out his head?
Real knockout artist. Prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way
Paulie,
we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. The way they did when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Say what you want about the Mike Tyson era.
Why he won't let that man
from
talk?
1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was to a degree manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at
Teddy
that time
Ellis,
fought.
Teddy Ellis will 100% agree with this
with the
because
expense
he
of
would say the guys
Witherspoon.
that were afraid of
With
him.
the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who I
You can say
contracted.
the same thing about
who had contract issues with King at the time. Oh, except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there.
Let me say this, bro. Right? Why don't they fight each other? The lightweight division is stacked with talent. So why aren't they fighting each other, bro? Ryan Garcia has fought the quote unquote most of his contemporaries. If we're honest, Ryan Garcia has fought the most of his contemporaries. And then they putting this up. 5 fighters Gervonta Davis should be fighting instead. Why can't they fight each other? Why Shakur Stevenson can't fight T.O., Keyshawn fight Shakur? Like, why can't people like these names they keep bringing up and all got piled up on Tank to fight? I'm not saying I don't want to see him fight him. He can't fight him. He shouldn't fight him. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, where is the attention on saying, fine, if Tank won't fight us, we could just fight each other? That's all I'm saying.
Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone. There was nobody there in that era that you can say Tyson didn't fight.
Didn't say it was related. It was the same as the Tyson era. Didn't say it at all. I was actually going to say the opposite when you talk about Trinidad. Trinidad is a bona fide superstar. And the way that he was, and like you said, he
stepped him up and he knocked out.
And he was in knockout punches. No, of course. So that's a different thing. So was Sugar Ray Leonard. Now, you also have to compare it to your contemporaries. Nobody is selling, dude. Nobody is selling. No one sells tickets. No one has a following these days. There's very few.
Tell them.
Fighters who
but
actually
there's
sell
a
tickets.
push, bro. I was at
Canelo
Showtime.
Alvarez.
Let them talk, Paulie. Golly.
I was at Showtime.
Canelo
There's
Alvarez.
a push, but champ. I don't want to keep cutting you off, but I got to because
they
here's the
all
thing.
push.
There's a
sometimes
push for certain people. I remember being at Showtime and even watching on HBO on TV. They're mentioning Saul Alvarez, who I didn't even know his name was Canelo at the time, as a possible Mayweather opponent when they were talking about possible Mayweather opponents. I'm like, I knew who the rest of the guys on the list were. Who the hell is this guy? Who's Saul Alvarez? That he's going on, that you put him in a list with all these other guys that you were bona fide champions and high-level fighters. They were already propping him up before he even got there. What's what I'm saying.
Guess what? It worked. It worked, Paulie.
Okay, you can do that with anybody is what I'm saying. You can do that with anybody who's a world-class fighter. You can't do that with anybody who's not a world-class fighter. But if they're a
Paulie, if you could do it with anybody that's a world-class fighter, why they not doing it with, why they not doing it? Why is Turkey not putting money behind Shakur and Eddie Hearn to prop him up, to manufacture him, to make him a star? Like you're saying, it's so easy to do, Paulie. Why they not doing that? It should be even easier to do in this day and age because we're in the age of social media. So why don't they put together? And I'm not taking shots at like Shakur and Devin when I'm bringing them up. I'm just bringing them up because I know that those are his contemporaries and those are the people that they're referring to. Why don't they put highlight reels together of Shakur and highlight reels together of Devin, put them on the internet, get them to go viral? I don't understand, Paulie. The same things that have been done for Gervonta can be done for these other fighters. But what you're not saying is, even if they do the exact same things, because of Tank Davis and because of his attention that he's able to draw from fans and that they're willing to spend their time and money on him, you don't necessarily mean that you will have the same outcome. There's a ton of other intangible things that you need to be a superstar, Paulie. It's been plenty of fighters that have been manufactured and propped up and pushed to the media. And a lot of times I'll see those fighters, I'll be like, oh, they food. They're going to feed them to somebody. They food. And it'd be my opinion, but I'm saying I can see a fighter being propped up and being like, they food. They building them up so they can feed them to somebody. And that'd be my opinion, but I'm saying it happens. So all I'm trying to say is, Paulie, that these other fighters have the same opportunity too. But even if you have the same opportunity, it's still a lot of intangible things you need in boxing. A team. You need a good team. You need good advice. You need, I mean, it's a lot of things. It's not just your skills.
Class fighters, you can do that. Okay.
No,
Gervonta
you still gotta get in a win.
They were pushing out when he was on under Mayweather on the cards. I was there. I was on the show. I was on Showtime. And honestly, I was buying it too at the time. I liked Davis. I liked him as a prospect. I liked what he was doing. I remember the first time I started having my doubts about Davis. It was on the undercard of Mayweather McGregor. I think he fought Francisco Fonseca or something like that. And he looked pretty average. And all of a sudden I was like, you know what? That's sort of the bigger step up for him right now. And he won, but I remember it was like an early stoppage, and he hadn't looked great in the fight. He wasn't a threat of losing or anything, but all of a sudden I was like, this guy's.
What is Paulie's point? What was his point with the Canelo thing? Are you mad because they was able to see the star and the talent and understand that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what his point is with this.
You know, this is not enough of a step up for you to be struggling already. You know what I mean? Like, I remember thinking, like, if you're going to struggle, you got to struggle at the very, very, very elite level. Like, if you're going to be propped up as this guy who's the next coming, right? I remember seeing him struggle a little bit with Fonseca and thinking, you're going to struggle against a guy like Fonseca. That's not enough of a step up for me to think, like, you can reach these levels and you're already struggling at this level. And honestly, bro, you know, what we've heard in hindsight since then, listen, let the young men go make money. It's fine. It's not about that. It's not about it. If anybody thinks I'm complaining about that, it's not about that. I worry about the health of the sport. These kind of things do not do us for the right thing. Okay. Because it's not like he's going to go fight Jake Paul and then he's going to go fight Lamont Roach. He never.
But you wasn't worried about the health of the sport when fights was being put on in New York in the middle of the street where the fans couldn't go? You wasn't worried about the health of the sport when fights was being taken over to Saudi Arabia? When the fight card in November is going to be it seems like on paper it's going to be a good card, but they having that fight all the way in Saudi Arabia, and none of those fighters' fans are going to be able to go to it. They're having it at an awkward time where a lot of those fighters' fans ain't going to be able to watch it. That don't make you worry about the health of the sport, Paulie? But you worried about the health of the sport for a fight that's been announced in America that shut the goddamn internet down in 15 minutes, and you're telling me it's not doing nothing for boxing? Come on, man.
Wants to be in the same state as Lamont Roach.
I don't think he's going to be. Listen, if you're a champion, defending champion, and you're going off and fighting exhibitions for money, you're not interested in fighting anymore. I don't think Gervonta Davis is ever going to fight again after this. But so all the points that you were making in terms of, you know, what Gervonta is, he's built up, he's this and that. You must like this fight then, because you got two guys who are built up who are selling tickets to non-boxing fans that are going to sell out arenas.
Like the built up. I don't like the built up. I like organic boxing. I'm just saying what they prop it up is selling.
If you're going to have two built up guys, they should fight each other, right? I mean, by what you're saying, I'm not saying that you like the build up, but if you got two guys that are built up and you're saying Gervonta Davis is built up, obviously Jake Paul's built up.
I'm saying you should build up the correct guys. You should let them organically rise to the top. The cream.
Paulie, what? You should build up the correct guys, Paulie. And who are the correct guys, Paulie? This is boxing. You your own boss. You your own person. Who should build up these correct guys, Paulie? Who? Like, you're not serious, Paulie. You know better, man.
The cream should rise to the top organically.
Look at Tim Tszyu. Look at Tim Tszyu. Yeah. Huge push behind him. And
what did I always say about little Timmy? Tim Tszyu is food. They're going to build Tim Tszyu up. I thought they was going to feed him to Charlo. They're going to build Tim Tszyu up, and they're going to feed him to a bigger fighter. Now, don't get me wrong. Tim Tszyu was a decent fighter. He was a decent fighter, but I peeped how he was moving, you know, fighting the old fighters, getting names on his resume. I peeped it. I wasn't tripping about it. I wasn't like, oh, he being manufactured. I wasn't doing none of that. I peeped what it was. It's boxing. That's how it worked.
They were getting ready. This was going to be the guy. He dropped the ball.
Bro, his level of opposition is better than Gervonta Davis' whole career arc, even right now. Tim Tszyu, his level of opposition, his position has already surpassed what Gervonta Davis has fought in his whole career. So you can't say drop the ball. What drops the ball?
They just keep saying that with no, like, they just keep saying that and getting away with it. Not acknowledging 3 fighters on Gervonta Tank Davis' resume are current champions. Like 6 fighters on his resume are ranked in the top 10 in their weight division right now. Those are the nobodies that y'all talking about Tank is fighting? Come on, man.
Well, you get exposed maybe as, okay, maybe you weren't as good. If you fight enough top guys, I'm telling you, Zoo's a quality fighter. But, we found out, okay, he can't hack it at a certain level. Davis isn't going to hack it at that level either, guys. I got news for you. They just kept him away from that level.
I'm gonna push back on that too again, because Fundora, is Fundora really that guy?
I mean,
he's proving to
be. He's proving to be. And honestly, the Montezalia fight didn't help him either. You forget anything against
the Montezalia fight. That was. That's what
I'm saying. You don't let anything arrive organically. How does Montezalia not get a date? You know what I mean? We talked about this yesterday.
This nigga talking about something organically, and this a business. He talking about you should let something rise organically, and this is a business. What are you talking about, Paulie? This ain't no qualifying sport. This ain't basketball, football. This ain't none of that. This is boxing. You sound crazy, Paulie.
How does Montezalia, who's a monster in that weight class? Again, you're not letting it organically arise. This is not a sport, bro. This is a sideshow circus that we're turning into over here. And I gotta see you talking about it. Go ahead, Jimmy.
What I'm curious about, and I really want to ask you this, Chris, because we were discussing this off air before this show even started. His charges of domestic violence dropped because his girlfriend basically failed to make a statement to police. This is a guy who claimed to have turned things around after he fled from a car accident. Clearly didn't turn things around. Chris, how much does it look? He's going to be in trouble anyway. We got to cash him out while we can. How much do you think his out of ring troubles may have contributed to this decision? You get what I'm saying? Where he's going to be in trouble. We don't know. As you said, he doesn't want to fight anymore. But this idea of he's also been in trouble again recently. Hey, let's take the big money fight and cash this guy out before he does something that he's going to do some serious time or there's another big mistake. What's your thought?
Troubles or not, I don't know the reality of that because, listen, I have friends who are repeat offenders in certain things.
All right, that's enough of that. They just start talking about him getting in trouble and stuff, as if Gervonta Tank Davis is the only boxer to ever have legal troubles. Jason Williams say co-signing Tank is like co-signing bubblegum rappers. Don't cry now that the rapper's trash. Hey, that's what I'm saying. If I want to like bubblegum rappers, I could like bubblegum rappers. It is what it is. But if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it, and you can go listen to whatever rap that you want to listen to. I'm going to drop the link real quick. I got about another 15 minutes on here, and I'm going to hop off. But I just let y'all come up here one at a time, get y'all 2 cents off, let y'all get a little review. You can click the link. I got 15 minutes left. But I just wanted to review that, give my 2 cents on that. I thought it was interesting when I watched it. Hey, that's Paulie's perspective on everything. I have a different perspective of everything. I don't know. And I really wanted to just cover the part about him talking about the marketing and the other fighters and this and that and things like that, because when I'm on Twitter and I'm online, what'd you say? Box Hacker say he left a super chat. Let me see. Shout out to Boxing Hacker with the $10 in the super chat. I'm not doing all the sounds and stuff today because it's my review show, so I just want to kind of keep it smooth. Boxing, Paulie has a point, but I don't think the vocal point is about being ghetto. I think when it comes to black fighters, you need either a bad guy persona or be the guy facing the popular bad guy. I don't think that Earl Spence had a bad guy persona. He didn't have a bad guy persona to me. I'm trying to think. They just promoted themselves and marketed themselves better, y'all. Y'all already and think about it. Think about how a lot of people feel a certain type of way because Bud Crawford is not a star. He didn't promote himself over there at Top Rank. He didn't do interviews. Remember, Bud don't like doing interviews. Bud don't like doing this, and Bud don't like doing that. He did not promote himself. What up, No Cap? What's your 2 cents? What you got for the show?
Yeah, Paulie ain't been the same since McGregor hit him with that left hand and fucked him up in that sparring. I think he gave him brain CTE.
He gave him something because that boy eyes was booked up and he wasn't even blinking. He wouldn't even let the other dude talk. I'm like, Paulie, chill. And he wouldn't let him talk because he knew he was about to make some sense. He kept cutting him off.
Because the juries were like, man, you about to get us banned. You about to get us canceled, nigga. He was trying to save Paulie too. You know what I'm saying? Trying to cover up his little racist rant and shit. He used all the buzzwords. They've been doing this shit since back in the day with that motherfucking I forgot the announcer name, but it was one of them. He was like a popular commentator or something. He was like he said something about black people. It was like they had slave genetics and some shit. That's why the white athletes can't compete or some shit. Like they been saying, they always say these little buzzwords and shit. Paulie mad because Tank getting the bag. He like, why is it always a guy like Tank getting the bag? Why is it always a nigga?
That's
Why
what it
can't I
sounded
get
like.
why didn't I get the bag? Why couldn't Paulie been somebody? Like Paulie, you was trying to be ghetto too, Paulie. You had the dookie braids in your hair, nigga.
You Breezy say, go watch Sean's and Tell Ladies video. He speaks the truth on Tank as well. I do a live reaction to that one too. Hey guys, y'all could hit the 2centsboxing2@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at 2centsboxing. DM if you want me to do a live review on something, just shoot me a link and like 2 cents, do a live review. Whenever I got some time, and if it's something I think that the audience would be interested in, I'll definitely do a live review. I want y'all to remember this is our 2 cents. This is our show, not just my platform. And I built it so I could hear y'all's opinion and what y'all think. So, I mean, no cap, what do you think about the marketing and this and that? What do you think about what he said about that? Because I just feel like I get what he's saying, and I'm not saying he's wrong, but what I'm saying is the other fighters also have an opportunity to do that. But as you can see, they're not doing that. They're not.
What makes Tank ghetto with Thug Life though? He never said that, other than him being a nigga.
Because he had I don't know, because he gets into trouble outside of the ring.
So do Conor McGregor got more trouble than that. He on coke every day, and he did. They don't ever call him ghetto.
Bivol, wasn't Bivol hitting on his wife? What's the other fighter that kicked the dog?
Beat up his wife, beat up a woman. I don't know if it was his wife, but he assaulted a woman.
Didn't he kick a dog?
They never said that about it. It did. Yeah, the MMA fighter beat the hell out of that one woman. He in prison for life. The War Machine, whatever the fuck his name was. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but they never. Paulie just mad because Paulie ain't get the bag. Paulie don't got no. He tried to say Tim Tszyu got a better resume than Tank. You got to be racist to say something like that. Come on, dog. It's like Tim Tszyu trash, dog.
That shit crazy.
Like Keith Thurman was looking at him like if easy money. Like Keith Thurman is like this nigga food. Nigga, old ass Keith Thurman was about to cherry pick this dude. So I'm like, man, come on, man. Paulie it's just sad that he went out like this. Like he been going on the racist rants for years, but at this point, this is just who he is. It is just sad, though, because he mad because he had the Reggie belt, he had the fake WBA belt, but his belt was fake. How come they ain't call this nigga Paulie the Reggie champion, nigga? Who the hell Paulie beat for that WBA belt? Now I could have swore Floyd had that WBA after he beat Shane Mosley, nigga.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I could have swore. How the hell Paulie get that WBA that he lost to bro? You know, they just gave this nigga the WBA for no reason, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dog. And then it's like, man, he talking about sideshow circus, but he was trying to get it on that circus, clout chasing McGregor. But McGregor played his ass, used him as a pawn, whooped his ass, and made it go viral and shit.
Shout out Todrick Williams in the building. What up, Todrick? Man, I'm just saying though, like, let me let Boxing Hacker up here so he can get his 2 cents. Boxing Hacker, what's your 2 cents? What you got for the show?
Hey, what's up, 2 cents? So it's interesting to me though, right? My perspective is a little bit different, right? So I actually understand what Paulie's trying to say. I don't think the vocal point of it is like being ghetto or being hood. That's a selling point. I think because I used to think about the same thing. Like for instance, like he brought up an interesting point of like Sugar Ray Leonard back in the day. He became popular, but he didn't have to play like the bad guy role. And I think the reason why Sugar Ray Leonard was able to do it because his persona back then was like sort of like the pretty boy, the good guy with the pretty smile. You know what I'm saying? Pause. And he was fighting a lot of people that were rough. So it made it really interesting. Like this pretty boy can really face all these rough dudes, you know? But nowadays it's more like you need to be on once for black fighters. Like what makes a popular black fighter? I think like if there's a form to it, it's either like you're the bad, like the bad guy. Like for instance, Floyd Oscar, right? Floyd played the bad guy role. And he used to talk about this. Like he played the bad guy role, and Oscar sort of played like Oscar ended up being a good guy because Floyd was a bad guy. Same thing with Pacquiao, and that creates sort of like interest, on both sides. Because then you create these two fan bases where, there's certain people that just want to see Floyd beat this guy, and there's certain people that want to see Oscar win. But and some of these people don't even have to be boxing fans. They just fall in love with the persona, And you sort of see the same thing today, like for instance, you'll say like Devin and Shakur, right? no, let's use Shakur for instance, right? Shakur has always been Shakur, but Shakur's popularity rose when he started, like when he actually came to 135, and like now he started getting lined up with Tank. People started talking about Shakur way more. Even when we got lined up with Devin,
Yeah,
they
that's
started
why he
talking,
attached himself. That's why they attached themselves to
right,
the other.
but guess what? But those are forms, right? Like you think about it, that's a form of being the good guy, because you look at Shakur like he's more, even though it's not true, he's more the clean cut kid versus the kid that's more like had a rough beginning, even you hear when you hear like different fan bases like go against each other, like they'll say, "Oh, Devin is like a geek," blah blah blah. Shakur,
What?
they're the guy.
Devin punching people at the carnival. That nigga ain't no geek. He a bad boy too. He punching his baby mama. He
but
punching folks at the
yeah,
carnival. He hitting
that's
everybody.
you can say that's who he really is. But we're talking about persona. Persona's not about who you really are. It's just what people perceive you.
But what's your point
Devin
though?
got
I'm trying
tattoos
to
and
So
diamond teeth.
I don't
nigga.
think so. Like when it comes to what Paulie say, I do think he has a point, but I don't think it's to that degree. I don't think it's about just being ghetto. I think it's more about picking, like you're in a play and you have to pick a side, sort of. If you're a black fighter, and that's how you sell yourself. I think. I don't even think it's about promotions.
You
Really.
don't
Like a lot of
understand how
fighters promote
boxing
themselves.
promoted, dog.
Yeah, like a lot of boxers
Tank
promote
don't even
themselves.
talk,
They don't
nigga.
sell
So
nothing.
how's he ghetto? He
Hold
don't
on,
even
no
talk
cap.
and do interviews.
Let me get this Cash App. Shout out Mr. Gregory Quattlebaum with the $5 in the super chat. He says, "Good afternoon, 2 cents in the chat." The sportscaster No Cap was speaking on was Jimmy the Greek. Paulie got fired for his statement from Showtime. So, I mean, we got to take what Paulie say with a grain of salt. But the reason why I did a review on Paulie was because this seems to be the sentiment of a lot of people. And like I said at the beginning of this review, we do have to really understand, right, that a lot of the boxing media has been bought up by Turki Al-Sheikh and these quote-unquote contemporaries that they're saying that Tank is not fighting are affiliated and associated with who? Turki Al-Sheikh. Too Rich, what's your 2 cents? What you got for the show?
Hey man, my name ain't Too Rich.
I mean, Rich, my bad. Damn,
Yeah,
my bad. Damn.
Nah, cause I listen to that guy, man. Nah, I don't agree with this guy, man. I feel like he got like some type of hate towards Tank. Like I feel like after that Adrian Broner shit, it's like people that grew up or got like a sister characteristics like Tank, you know what I'm saying? Like just who they is or whatever. It's like he feels some type of way about that shit. So a lot of his shit don't be law with what he say. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's speaking good on someone, I don't know if it's like truly genuine with whatever he say. That's why I don't fuck with that guy, man, for real.
So you didn't agree with anything he said or any of his points? What about what I said? What do y'all think about, what's y'all 2 cents about my rebuttal expressing the fact that these fighters do have the opportunity to market themselves? They may not have the same team with the same level of expertise or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's just like
I didn't agree.
It's just like, wait, hold on. It's just like Terrence Crawford. I'm pretty sure if Terrence Crawford would have went the route that Floyd Mayweather went and played the villain and stuff like that or whatever, or just, you know what I'm saying, like how Floyd would antagonize Mexicans and do all that stuff. I'm pretty sure that he definitely would have been like a prize fighter, but he never been that type of person.
But it's not even about that. Let's just start with the fact that Terrence Crawford didn't do interviews. He didn't promote himself.
That's what I'm saying. He's more like if y'all know who Kawhi Leonard is, that's how Terrence Crawford used to come off as, like a Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That got all the skills and all that stuff, but ain't really want to do no interview. Ain't really.
And they tried to make Kawhi Leonard a star, and it didn't go that well.
Yeah, but he's a hell of a nigga. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. It's like it's what you do. You see, but Teofimo, he's trying to do it, but his dumb ass doing it the wrong way. He's doing it the wrong way. Like he
doing it the wrong way? Because ever since Teofimo said nigga, they've been wanting everybody to fight.
But
yeah,
it
you
ain't,
see
it
what I'm
ain't
saying?
but the thing about it is when Teofimo doing it, when Floyd was doing stuff like that, he will fight the Mexicans and prove if Teofimo start beating up the slick black fighters and shit like that. He fighted Devin, he fighted Gervonta, he fighted, and he winning and he doing that stuff. Then that's a different story. But he's not
Yeah.
winning and doing that shit. He's fighting, he's doing all this stuff, and then gonna fight
Exactly.
a Barbosa. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's why he's not gonna ever win by
I
doing
agree
it. That's
with
why I
you.
mean by he's doing it the wrong way.
I agree with you, Rich, and that's the same thing I
Yeah.
said. Like, what has T.O. done for y'all? Act like T.O. just been dominating and beating everybody. Now y'all want to go see him fight Boots. He ain't been doing nothing to be like, ooh, I think I want to see him against Boots. He hadn't done nothing to be doing that. Somebody got a mute. They got nasty feedback.
That's Rich has.
Shout out to Richie L with the $5 in the super chat. He says Paulie still mad at AB for taking his girl and beating his ass. Plus, Tank and AB is boys. Paulie just and hater. Paulie just a hater. Fuck him. But all right, y'all. I wanted to limit these live reviews down to 1 hour. Shout out to y'all for coming up. I'm gonna get y'all off the stage. I'm gonna let Mr. Greg come up and get his final 2 cents and close us out. Mr. Greg, what's your final 2 cents? What did you think about the live review, and what do you think about the show?
Oh, I love what you're doing. You know, I'm always going to tell you that. Paulie's reviews and what Paulie says, some of the things Paulie says has some bit of truth in it, but Paulie has some ingrained biases that has been there long before he started being on the internet. And what I looked at when Paulie talks about certain fighters, it's always fighters who have done better than him economically. Paulie had a fan base out of New York. I believe it's from Brooklyn or Queens, one. But again, who you use to promote you and market you makes a big difference in how you move forward in the sport in terms of what popularity you have, what leverage you have, and getting persons and so forth. And Paulie thought that he could just simply talk his way into it without it being planned, without having backing, having a machine behind him.
He thought he was going to do it organically.
Yeah, exactly. Where he get that from is just beyond me. Because I noticed how he used to criticize Pacquiao. He just couldn't believe Pacquiao could fight, could use angles, could make the kind of money, because Paulie has always shown a bit of bias. And it's always somebody who's doing much better than him. He thinks he's suffered more in the ring for whatever reason. So, but when he says certain things about marketing, that is true. Fighters and promoters today have just, in my opinion, just gotten lazy. And we see the results in a fight that at one point would have been seen as a fighter daring to be great, meaning the Crawford Canelo fight. That fight 20 years ago of somebody daring to go up against somebody like Canelo is being seen, and a smaller guy like Crawford would have been huge. I mean, it would have been at, I'm not using their skill levels as a comparison, but when Ray went up to fight Hagler, that was seen as, how are you crazy? You can ready to fight who? But he dared to do it, planned for it, had to change his plan, because if y'all don't know, Ray was getting killed in training. One of my friends was one of his sparring partners. He was putting Ray on the ground, on the floor, I should say. And they changed the plan. But that also goes back to what I say about what you do in your preparation shows up in the ring, and how much ring intelligence you have, because he realized he wasn't going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Marvin. And he changed that. And the plan was brilliant, in my opinion. Well, the same thing applies to how you're marketed. Ray came out of the Olympics. At that point, the Olympics, especially if you won a gold medal, that was a golden ticket. But again, it didn't work quite that way immediately for Ray, because as you know, he went on and enrolled in school. They took him and one of his friends, and I can't name who that person was, but they took him just out into the street, just standing in the corner, to see who recognized him, even though he had won the gold medal. Nobody did. So that should tell you that you might have all the goods, but you also have to get the right people who puts out to the public who you are, what you do, what your personality was. And that's what they did with Ray. But every fighter can do the same thing if you want to spend the money, if you want to get the people who do that kind of work to promote you, because you're a product. You can be the greatest product in the world, and you can sit on a shelf and collect dust, because nobody knows knows how to sell you to the people who are going to get you where you want to go. And that's the kind of philosophy you still got to have even today. You have so much out here right now with the internet. You have podcasts and platforms like yours where people seriously talk about boxing, even argue with each other about boxing, and who knows enough about boxing. But yet you don't see, in my opinion at least, enough of boxers and their people actually sending you little film clips of them working out or sparring or showing you them doing something different in preparation for a fight. You have to do that kind of stuff to even get people to keep talking. And that's what should have been done. One of the many things that should have been done in the fight that's coming up, but it's not, because promoters have gotten lazy too. Let's just be honest. Promoters basically rely on sponsorship fees, site fees, and broadcast fees. They're not out there constantly putting the fighters on maybe a 10 city tour to push the fight. They're not doing those kind of things. They cost money, but you have to do that if you want to start to really generate the kind of money that you hope these fights will bring you, especially when you have a super fight or a big fight. And that hasn't happened. We're looking for things that aren't going to happen anymore. So it's up to the fighters, to me, in my opinion, to do more, not just be prepared for the fight, be this great fighter, show your skills, sharpen your skills, but you got to get more sharper. You got to get much more sharper in and use all of the elements who are here today to promote yourself, to market yourself. There got to be a brand for you. You have I'll tell you this, you have a brand, right? We know, we see your icon. We hear what you say at the end of the show. If you don't want to get you been thrown off the panel, nobody, if anybody hears that, they know it's you. You see what I'm saying? They know 2 Cents After Dark. They know it's you. And you understand this stuff already, but fighters who are getting these millions of dollars, either they don't understand it or they're too lazy to implement the work to get there. So with Paulie,
I think they. This is the thing, Mr. Greg. I think they do understand it. When I seen, I think it was Devin Haney and Andre Ward doing an interview, and Andre Ward said out of his mouth, "I don't care if my promoter make their money back. That's not for me to worry about. I just need to make sure that I get my pay and get my money. Go." Basically, what he said, I need to make sure I get my money and win the fight and go on by my business.
And that's the laziness I'm talking about.
And that's what made me realize why those people on that side, the Andre Wards, the Shakur, remember, they all a group. They all hang out. So they all share this mentality, in my opinion. And to me, that's why they not, maybe it's other reasons too, but I'm sure that that's part of the reason why they were not as big as they quote unquote feel they should be. Because
that's a huge reason.
Yeah, that's a huge reason. So I'm like, what is the crying about?
The crying is because they don't want to. See, a lot of fighters figure they sacrifice so much, they do so much in preparing that they shouldn't have to do more. A lot of them have that attitude. I get where it comes from, but they have to understand when you want to get to the top, you always have to do more. And when you get there, you got to do even more because the target is on your back now. Everybody wants what you have. And if you want to keep it, you got to do a lot more to keep it. You already had to do enough just to get to the opportunity. All the positioning you got to do, all the changes you got to go through, all the people that you don't want to deal with, you got to deal with anyway. So when you get it and you succeed in, I guess, being at the top of the food chain or getting the belt or whatever, now what are you going to do to keep it? Because there's somebody else who wants to get it from you just like you got it from somebody else. How much are you willing to do? If you got a promoter, the promoter wants to make money off of you. The attitude, you got to learn to get along with him because he does work for you too. You can never say, I don't care what you make, because he'll start not caring what you make. And he has more power than you know. Because if he's not getting you to fight, you're stuck in a contract that he'll let you sit on the dust just to be mean about it. You know what I mean? So promoters have done that to fighters. And we know that has happened. So you have to, once you get there, do if whatever it is that you want to get out of this sport, how much money you want to get out of this sport, whatever kind of name you want to build so you can cross over into other avenues. It starts with how much you're willing to do and who's in your corner, including your promoter. If your promoter is there, make him want to do more for you by you saying the right things at least. Build him up. I got the greatest promoter in the world. He's taking care of this, that, and the other. People love recognition, no matter who you are. And that could inspire your promoter. Let me see if I can get him a television deal doing this. They will go that extra mile for you if you're going the extra mile for them. But again, like I said, with the internet, and fighters realize I can go on the internet and make my name, because you'll know me on the internet, but you still don't see them doing much in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
This is the mentality that's not going to change, in my opinion. This is what we got to deal with. We have to look at the fact that fighters usually on the average fight one time a year. They're trying to get as much money as possible, but they'll come on the internet, call everybody a duck. He's soft. He avoid me. He this, he's that. I sent the contract. You hear all of those same words from everybody, but you don't see anything changing in their own behavior.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if I wanted $5 million to fight somebody and they have the bigger name or have the biggest name as mine, and they say, well, we'll give you the 5, but we want a rematch clause. We don't want you to use this kind of glove. We don't want you to do some. There's a point where you will say no, but there has to be a point where you look for the compromises if you're trying to make that particular type of fight. Or if you're the smaller guy who's not the A side, as they say, who say, yeah, we'll give you the fight, but we're going to get the lion's share of the money, which is usually you get 25%, sometimes it's 40%. How much do you want to do to get this fight? Do you want to take that 25%? And if you don't, will you say, the reason why I'm not taking this fight is because this is all I get and I want more? Be honest. If you're in a position where you are very stubborn, where you're going to be demanding, where you can make somebody bend to your will, that's great if you can do it, but you're going to have to take the criticism and the dislike, such as what happened with Terrence. He demanded certain things. He got them, but the price he had to pay is you're going to ever be criticized. People dislike what you did. You're going to be clowned a little bit, but you still got what you want, and you keep doing that. But see, that's also a hallmark to me of an athlete whose mentality, who can make you bend to his will. But there's always a price. But I get what Paulie is saying. He's saying some of the right things. He's using some of the wrong words, in my opinion. He's a little too emotional about it. And part of it because he also has his own biases. So
correct.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Greg, thank you for coming up and giving your review. This is the new live review show over here at 2 Cents Boxing. I will be live again this evening from 5 to 7 p.m. Again, it's another short show, so y'all make sure y'all there at 5 p.m. when it gets started. Make sure you're there. We're going to do the Sunday wrap-up where we talk about all the big things and current events that went through the week. I kind of run them down for a little bit, then I open the panel for about an hour and we go back and forth and chit chat and everybody get a 2 cents. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And y'all, if you listen to the replay, let me know and drop it below. If you like the review show, if you don't like the review show, be sure to help to support the channel with the $ 2 Cents Boxing. Make sure you hit the heart with the $ in it. Leave me a special thanks below. Let me know I'm doing a good job and you support the channel. But at the very least, punch that like and subscribe button. Hit me on my email at 2 Cents Boxing 2 if you would like to email me a link. Be like, hey, 2 Cents, do this for the review show. I'm interested in your 2 cents. Just anything, y'all let me know and drop it below, or hit me on the DM in my Instagram at 2 Cents Boxing. And listen, if you don't want your host all in the videos, cussing you out, timing you out the chat, kicking you off the panel, leaving you in the background, come on over to 2 Cents Boxing, where we talk everything boxing and everybody's entitled to their own opinion.